and welcome to Game Arena's 5-inch floppy. I'm Junglist, and it's that time of year again where every video gaming outlet decides to be horribly divisive and assign a few select games awards, invariably pissing off readers and viewers because there's only a small chance your favorite game will get chosen. We're no different, and here we are with your self-proclaimed Core Gaming End of Year Awards, the second annual Semis. We like to do things a little different here. Rather than Best 360 title or Best Strategy title, we try to have some more interesting awards. We have been polling you over Facebook and Twitter over the last couple of days, and if you want to be a part of these conversations, make sure you stay till the end of the episode and grab our details. Not all categories could make it, however. So without further ado, let's kick things off with the most innovative game of 2011. This award could just as easily have been called Best Indie. Given the risk-averse nature of the entertainment industry, they're almost synonymous. So in this age of franchise fodder and sequel spam, we choose to recognize those who try something new. Here are your runners-up. Frozen Synapse. Best described as Counter-Strike meets chess, a priority system of cover, movement, and aim is at the core of this game's compelling multiplayer. Acron. A real-time strategy game based around the ability to go back and forth in time. This is hands down the most innovative idea here, but the game surrounding this idea was nowhere near polished enough to do it justice. Desura. Not so much a game as a distribution platform akin to Steam or Impulse, but Desura has a focus on mods and indie. If you're on a budget or just like to focus on the interesting niche, there's no better way to turn one game into many games. But the winner of this year's most innovative semi-award goes to LA Noire. Oddly enough, the only non-indie game maker on this list. By setting up 16 3D cameras around actors' faces to capture every nuance of their performance, Team Bondi achieved an unparalleled level of facial accuracy. This technology was perfectly at home in a game where you interrogate people as a detective and try to catch them out lying. We might not see this technology for a while, but this was a bold, worthwhile experiment in storytelling and games. Next up, the best multiplayer game of 2011. Now, comparing these games cross-genre is pointless, but hell, we're just having fun here. So what is the best game to take on your mates in? Here are your runners-up. Frozen Synapse. Cerebral tactics played out 5 seconds at a time in simultaneous turns.
Hostile neutralized.
FIFA 12. A massive defensive overhaul eliminated an entire playstyle in the latest version of FIFA, which ultimately allowed players to inject as much creativity into their defense as their offense. Mortal Kombat. The 9th MK game, banned in Australia, is a return to form. Tight mechanics, balance across increasingly insane characters, and lots of teleportation and juggling allowed for interesting combos. Mortal Kombat was good enough to join its competitors Street Fighter IV and Marvel vs. Capcom 3 as a tournament favorite.
But of course, Raiden has the fastest teleport in the game. So hard to punish, so it's very hard.
But the best multiplayer semi-award of 2011 goes to Battlefield 3. The sights and sounds of war are cooler than ever in this explosive 64-player per game shooter. Not much has changed from Battlefield's traditional flag-capping playstyle, but not much needed to. Now for a fun one. We asked you what was the best attack, ability, or combo in 2011. Here are your runners-up. Bulletstorm, The Leash. Mortal Kombat, the X-Ray attack. Saints Row 3, the Awesome button.
That's right.
Gears of War 3, the Retro Lancer charge. But the winner of the best attack, ability, or combo goes to Assassin's Creed Revelations, calling in assassin minions. Just one button press implies all the planning that would go into a stealthy assassination, whether it's from a rooftop, out of a haystack, or an arrow volley to take out multiple foes returning from Brotherhood. Nothing makes you feel like an Assassin King more than letting those under you do the dirty work. 2011 wasn't a fun year for everyone, though. For some, it was a hard year, or just the latest in a series of hard years. So we've introduced a special category for developers who have made the best of a bad situation. Here are your runners-up. Ace Combat Assault Horizon. Project Aces did a good job working within the dead genre of arcade flight combat, and considering the actual game is extremely simple, shapes moving towards other shapes on your HUD, Assault Horizon was still fun through gratuitous stylization. Duke Nukem Forever. When the baton for this cursed game was passed to Gearbox Software, they at least succeeded in bringing it out, even if it was a textbook definition of polishing a turd. Bastion. Supergiant Games self-funded and developed Bastion as a small team of 7 to become 2011's indie success story. Project Zomboid. Not only did developers The Indie Stone have to deal with laptop theft, setting them back in development, the game's source code was leaked and pirated copies allowed updates from the main servers. Unable to carry the costs, they were forced to release what they had as a public tech demo. But the award for beating the odds goes to LA Noire. We had our own little Duke Nukem Forever in Sydney, and after years of development and LA Noire's release, some of the studio's problems came to light, including thankless long hours, a high turnover of staff, and a deteriorating relationship with Rockstar. Shortly after release, Team Bondi was no more, but despite the odds, LA Noire was quality.
You did a grand job, lads.
Now before we get to the real good stuff, last year we had an entire episode dedicated to games that didn't receive enough coverage or perhaps were just a little misunderstood. It probably doesn't warrant an entire episode this year, so here is your award for Most Underrated Game. Here are your runners-up. Rayman Origins, Sonic Generations, Driver San Francisco, Trackmania 2 Canyon, Homefront's multiplayer, and so close to snagging the prize was Shinji Mikami and Suda51's Shadows of the Damned. But the most underrated game goes to League of Legends Dominion. With the avalanche of releases this year, Dominion only really received coverage from MOBA enthusiast sites. But credit is due to a successful adaptation of MOBA gameplay, especially when the fanbase rabidly guards the status quo. Dominion keeps MOBA's theme of denying space to your enemy and applies it to a flag capping map, giving you more flags than you can properly capture at once, ensuring a flowing game, and moving the League of Legends brand from strength to strength, as it recently surpassed 32 million registered players, with 1.3 million players in a game at any given time.
While Summoner's Rift requires exceptional teamwork to win, I think it only requires it at certain key points of the game. Whereas in Dominion, I think that great teamwork is rewarding all the time.
And now we come to my personal favorite category, the most memorable moment in gaming for 2011. I'm going to take this opportunity to say there are massive spoilers coming up. Big, end of game, main characters dying spoilers. So if you don't want to see them, skip way ahead. Here are your runners-up. Assassin's Creed Revelations, the Minstrel Mission. While posing as a minstrel, you and your protégés must identify the killers plotting to attack the prince. It's your job to distract them with song while the culprits are silently taken out.
Like learning how to play the lute.
Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception, the French Chateau. While breaking into a crypt for another clue, the villains set fire to the entire building. As you escape, the building crumbles, meaning you never know what will happen with every jump. Gears of War 3 Dom's Death.
Dom!